is up, my britches? If you're new here, hello, my name is Brittany. Major malfunctions with the camera tonight. So if the settings look off, it's because I've been fucking with it for about 25 minutes and I'm like, all right, I'm just over it. I wanted to add the lights back. I've just got to really sit down for a long period of time and situate this, but I got everything to look so it wasn't like adjusting my skin tone as I was pulling things in. I wanted to get it to capture the colors appropriately. I think they're pretty spot on, but it still needs a little bit of tweaking, but that's why I was a little late today, because we're lucky we're still live after me not throwing my camera, because I was about this close today, guys. So today we are going to talk about the Twilight ColourPop collection. This was sent to me, was not expecting it whatsoever, because I feel like everybody that watches me on here knows I stay shit talking about ColourPop. I have a house full of kids also right now, so if you hear screaming in the background, that's why. I even, like, this whole thing is a fucking disaster. Like, I see that I'm crooked right now. Guys, it is what it is, all right? I'm trying to get back on here. I'm like, fuck my whole life right now. But if you're not into this, whatever, like longer form content, I will be posting a shorter, more concise version over on TikTok. So there's that. Follow me there. Follow me on Instagram. You get it. But back to this collection. So I was not expecting it. I was gifted this entire collection. I get PR from ColourPop like once in a great while, which is why I was not expecting it. But it's a new year, so I feel like all the brands kind of revisit their, their influencers, who they want to send certain things to. Whatever, you get it. I got this collection. I want that to be very apparent. I did not pay for this collection, but I wanted to say, basically, would I have purchased this? Or would this be something I would justify spending my money on if I were to purchase it? Let me know, too, if you guys can hear me okay, like if everything sounds all right, if I sound too loud, because I noticed my microphone has been adjusted with as well. I love having an 11-year-old in the house that's into the same things that I am. So there's that. Hot Mess Express. Guys, you already know, okay? All aboard. All aboard the Hot Mess Express. So let's just dive right into it. Obviously, I feel like if I'm talking about something, it's probably on my face today. So we're going to start with the eyeshadow palette. So I feel that something that I'm always saying about ColourPop is I feel that they're very inconsistent. And I feel the same way about this collection as I do about pretty much everything that I talk about when it comes to ColourPop. This is why I have a hard time throwing my money at it, because it's a gamble every single time, because they're not consistent, at least for me and for what I look for. And I want to elaborate on exactly what it is that I am looking for and what I would change about it, if that makes sense. So just to give you guys the tea, the details, everything is currently sold out, but it's so hyped. So I'm like, all right, but is this actually worth the hype? Like, is this collection even worth the price, the hype? Because it was like, it launched at ColourPop, sold out immediately. Launched at Ulta, sold out immediately. It's crazy, and I feel like we haven't seen a collection have this sort of hype in a minute. And it's not because, like, influencers are talking about it and hyping it up. It's just solely because it's Twilight, I feel, which is kind of cool. But it's like, okay, is this just a collector's piece? We're gonna cover it. All right. So the palette retails for $24. Do I feel that this palette is worth $25 or $24? I really don't think that I would spend $24 on it. And if I did, I don't think I would be like overjoyed about it. I think I'd be like, okay, it's fine. Like, I wouldn't be mad at it, but I wouldn't be like, oh my God, this was like a steal. I think it's priced, I guess, fairly. But again, it's for what I look for. So this is what the color story looks like. Color story, I fucking love it. Like, Amanda from Unearthly Cosmetics, if we could get a color story all about this vibe, I would be here for it, because I already know that I love Unearthly, like, formulas, okay? So let's just get right into it. I didn't pre-film swatches or anything like that, because I wanted to just break down what I like and don't like about it. So it has, let me see. We've got mostly mattes in this palette. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm going to say 6 mattes, 5 shimmer, like, I'm going to say shimmer. I was going to say shimmer satin, but it's more of a shimmer, which is what it's on my lid right now. So we have 5 of these. I would say 2 pressed glitters, and 1 metallic. That's how I'm going to classify this, all right? So as far as the mattes go, I feel like when you swatch them, it's not accurately represented to what it looks like and translates when it's on your eyes. That's my biggest disappointment, I think, with this palette, because in this, okay, when you look at it, in the palette, it looks, I would say, more neutral, but when you put it on your eyes, everything pulls more cool toned. So since I know that, I could appreciate it about this palette because I would reach for it more if I'm looking for cool tones, if that makes sense. But I don't like that surprise of, I was expecting this, but I got this instead. It's so strange. So today, if you're wondering what's on my eyes, I'm wearing the shade Bella that was all in my crease. Like, when I see this in the pan, it looks neutral. But when you look on the eyes, it does not look remotely the same. I didn't pre-film. I've been doing a lot of like lives on TikTok, just doing like little get ready with me's. And then I have Say It Out Loud blended in the crease. Again, it looks more neutral in the pan, appears far more cool toned on the eyes. And then I put Irresistible. So in this palette, my favorite thing about it is these shimmers, because the shimmers are what make this palette worth it. Because these are the perfect, you know how I love one and dones? All right. It's not a glitter. It has glitter in it, but I feel like a shimmer is the appropriate way to express what these are. So I do really like these because they give you that frosty look. However, there's other ones out there that are significantly better. Like these kind of have that, it's almost like a powdery feel, and I just don't really love that. This green here is technically a duochrome, but it doesn't have enough of a flip where that should be a selling point. I don't know, like I'm really underwhelmed. And I think what is so exciting about this is the fact that it's Twilight and the color story. But these shadows I think could have been done so much better, in my opinion. Okay, I hope I'm not just totally like wrecking your whole world right now if you're really excited about this. Because it's like, I think if you're into this, it's because you really like the series. Therefore, it's a collector's item. I think that is essentially the only selling point about this palette. Again, just my opinion. So I would say there's 2 pressed glitters in here, and I just don't really like eyeshadows like this. So again, it's a me personally thing, which is why I'm kind of underwhelmed by it, because like they look pretty when you swatch them, but when you put them on my eyes, and since I'm not going to say I have mature eyes, but I have, I have the lines, I have the texture. These are not flattering at all on my texture. It's like, it kind of looks like it builds on itself because it has like a gelish base to it. I hope I'm expressing it. I think pressed glitter is the best way to explain it. It's like, it doesn't lay smooth. It doesn't really give a punch either. Like the swatches, in my opinion, are very deceiving on these. And that's where I was like, I just wanted so much more for this. But again, it's how I always feel about ColourPop. Like there's just something about it where I'm like, it's just lackluster for me. Like I did a look, I think it was yesterday. I put the shade Lion and Lamb, which is that really pretty looking shimmery green. When you put it on your eyes, it's not enough. It doesn't give that punch that I'm looking for. If anything, think of it like this. Remember the Natasha Denona Trio Chrome palette? Where everybody was saying like it was a good palette, but if you have this expectation of, you want it to be really bright and vibrant and really metallic, you're not going to get that. It's a little bit more wearable, but it's not as flattering. So it's like a catch-22 of, it's just not delivering what I want and what I look for. And I think ultimately it just comes down to, there's other brands that I think do eyeshadows better. I think that's the lump summary. But one thing I think that ColourPop really does incredibly well is this packaging. Like the packaging is super pretty. I don't know if you're going to see because I have these bright lights. It's got a really pretty like iridescent sort of like I don't even know how to explain it. It's like iridescent but like hollow. I feel like you can see it kind of. Like that detail's really nice. It's just, it's overall like a vibe. I like that it's got all the shades on the back. The packaging is probably the best thing about this palette. And second to that would be, I would say, the shimmers. But there's other shimmers that I feel are better. The mattes are fine. Like, Here's the other thing with this palette is I could get looks like this where you guys are probably like, okay, but that eye look is really pretty. Yes, you can make this palette work, but it's going to take you a lot more work than other eyeshadows would. And that's just one of those things where I'm like, okay, it's $24, so it's not quite drugstore pricing. It's not quite high end. It's right there in the middle. I would rather take my $24 and invest it in something that's performative significantly better. So there's that. But if you're just somebody that loves Twilight and you want to own this for a collection, okay, cool. Like, you might not be disappointed because you're like, okay, at least it works. Like, it still performs decent, but for what I look for, I would rather redirect my money in like a Natasha Denona or an Unearthly Cosmetics or even Urban Decay. Like, there's other brands that I just think do eyeshadows better. I really hope I'm elaborating on this really well for you guys. The packaging, I think is it pronounced dosha? The packaging is pretty. I'll give ColourPop that. That's the biggest prop I think that I could give ColourPop on this because the packaging is done really well. It perfectly represents, the movie. I'm sure like people have read the books. I did not. I'm going on this solely based on the movie. I love the movies though, so that's where I was really excited about it because I'm like, oh my God, I love Twilight. Like, it's a really popular collection. Obviously, I wanted to have it, but I didn't buy it. So that I feel like is enough right there to say like how I feel about it. Even though I love the color story, I still didn't feel that I needed to have it because I knew because of the previous experiences that I've had with ColourPop palettes that it's probably not going to be something that I personally like anyways. You know what I'm saying? So these next items right here, these are, I think they're called like the Color Fix ink liners. These retail for, I believe, $10 a piece. Now, I have not used these, and this is why I want people to pay attention when I like review stuff from now on, is I don't feel like I need to buy whole entire collections like I previously did, and this is a perfect example of why. I just don't use products like this. They're $10 a piece, so $30 right here. 3 different shades. I'm going to swatch them for you, but even without using them, I already know if you're going into these expecting them to be a good ink liner, you're going to be disappointed because they don't even swatch that great. So if anything, I think they swatch way too sheer. I feel like you would have to really build these up, and I don't think that's something you'd want to do with something like a graphic liner. I want in something like this, full pigmentation, like an epic dry down, and I just know you're not going to get that with these simply because of how they swatch. It's like you really have to build it. The maroon one is the shade, what is it, Vampire? I think this one does okay, but it's still one of those things where I'm like, no, it's not like a satisfying one swipe. If anything, the shade Coven is probably going to be the best one where it's, it's slightly better, but it still has a little bit of sheerness. So it's like you're going to have to build it up. I just know this is not a product for me. Therefore, I would not recommend it. But if you love things like this or you like a sheer formula, this is where I want people to really think about the things that you like, because maybe you're not somebody that wants, a super metallic eyeshadow, or you want something like that's going to give you this and that's not crazy expensive. Like, just ask yourself those questions. If everything that I said is something that you would like, yeah, you'd probably like this. But obviously, I don't. And my opinion is not the only one that matters when, especially it comes to you purchasing products that you're interested in. Now, probably the biggest surprise with this collection for me is the Super Shock highlights. So there's 2 different shades. We have Vampire Skin and also Meadow. I actually have both of them on my face today. On my TikTok, I'll show you them separately applied. So on this side, I laid down Vampire Skin first, and then I put Meadow on top because I planned on leaving my house until it was fucking freezing outside. And then on this side, I put Meadow down first with Vampire Skin just like a little bit tapped over the top. I usually don't like Super Shock highlighters, and they're still not my favorite formula, but I think that these are really pretty. So these, I think, retail for, how much were they? How much were they? $10 a piece. If you're into a Super Shock highlight, you'd probably like these. And I think especially if you have lighter skin than me, you'd like them even more. If you have deeper, I really don't think vampire skin would work for you. And the reason I say that is because these have that, like, that cast. So I'm very particular about how I apply these. So you're less likely to see the cast when I'm looking forward. And I really focus them significantly higher on my cheekbone than I usually do. I will usually bring my highlight down and then all the way up. These, I just simply go boop, 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 right over the top, and that's it. So Meadow is actually my favorite of the two because it looks white in the pan, but this one you could see that it's got like a pinky, almost like a pinky purple reflect to it. And I love pinky highlighters. And then on the skin, it just almost gives the illusion of like a blush topper. I just think these are pretty. I think that they're worth $10 because realistically that's not insanely expensive, especially for a highlighter. But just be mindful that it does have that cast if you're not careful. And I would highly recommend just applying it with your finger. I think a brush, it would take it too far. And that's not necessarily a look, especially if you're my complexion or deeper. It's a very apparent cast that you're going to see. So just be mindful of that. Hi, everyone. I see people coming in the chat. I'm a hot mess today, as per usual. I know. All right. So the next thing that I think is one of the better items in the collection is the Soul Body Shimmering Dry Body Oil, right? Yeah, that's what it's called. So it looks like this. I like this packaging. I like the fact that it's glass, but I kind of wish that this was plastic because this would be something I would take with me to travel because that's really the only time that I wear things like this. I shouldn't say the only time. I use stuff like this for work as well. Like if the titties are out, I will slather this all over my chest and it just looks, it's just a vibe. I actually wore it last night. So I do really like this. It's, I think, $11. Let me double check. I like the way that it smells. It smells very tropically. And the whole collection retails for $99 if I didn't cover that before. Oh, $12, not $11. Highlighters are $10. This is $12. So this, the only, I would say, critiques that I would give it if I could would be I kind of wish that it had different packaging. I wish that it had more of like a body spray. But again, that's just a preference thing. It's very liquidy. I don't think you're really going to see how pretty this is on camera. I was trying it for the first time on my TikTok live last night. First of all, it smells so fucking good. Like, it's very tropical, which the scent, I think, for the collection kind of throws it a little bit, but I'm not mad at it. So this is what it looks like when it's freshly applied. You're obviously seeing more of the oil, but it is just filled with, like, tiny, tiny little, I don't want to say glitter, but that's what it's really, really tiny, like, micro glitters. So it's super sparkly. The only downfall I would say is the dry down is not very quick, but I'm not mad at this though for how pretty it looks. But I was looking for something to be more like the Fenty Beauty Diamond Bomb a little bit because I feel like that is truly like Edward Cullen skin. I've called it that so many times. So it's like you still get the sparkle, but even though it's like there's a ton of it, I still want more. But it's still worth it. Like, this is good. And I really would like this for travel purposes. Like, if I was going on, like, a beachy vacation or, like, an all-inclusive resort, yeah, I would fuck this up. I'd probably use it every single day. But that's just where it's like, I know its place, and that's probably the only way that I would use it. Almost think of, like, how the Tom Ford ones are, how they're in, like, a spray. It's like it almost looks like a perfume. That's the packaging that I wish that had. And I wish that it would dry down a little bit faster because this is usually like a finishing touch sort of a thing. But this this is a fucking look though. So if you don't mind that, it's fine. Lena says, is it hologram like? Not really. It's more of the shine I think that you're seeing or like that you're gonna see. I don't even really think because the glitter is so small, I don't even know if you would really notice it. Like, normally when I wear stuff like this or I have glitter everywhere, people comment on it, and I didn't get anybody saying nothing about it, which I've only worn it once. But it's more of just like, I think the shine is what you're going to really notice it more. And then obviously the scent. But that's my opinion on those. So now we have the lip oils. These, to me, I would not call them a lip oil. It's very strange because I have a certain expectation, I guess, when it comes to lip oils. Like, I expect a certain consistency. And these are very different. I'm sure if you've tried ColourPop lip oils before, which I don't believe that I have, which is why I think it threw me so much, because I'm like, wait, this is not a lip oil. It feels like a lip gel because it's got that gelish consistency to it. It's very strange for me because when I think of a lip oil, I think of just something different. I don't know. It's almost like a gel meets an oil. Because I get it why they call it an oil because of the effect that it has. So let me give you guys swatches. I've got the shade Bells, which is the one that is on my lips right now. I love the shades of these. I think the shades were perfectly done. They look really intimidating because they're so dark, but they're an oil, so they're not going to be as dark. But this one has a little bit more sparkle in it. So this is Team Jacob. Like, this doesn't look wearable whatsoever, but let me tell you what. I put my House of Sillage Envious Nude lip liner down with both of, like, I use either one of these on top. I got so many compliments on it because it makes everything that you put under it more cool toned. So I'm like, okay, these will definitely have a place in my collection because I don't have anything like this. If I could change something about this, I wish that these were lip glosses because I am not a lip oil bitch. All right, cancel me. I feel like everybody is all the rave about lip oils right now. I would much rather have a lip gloss because for me it lasts longer. Like, I just applied this not long ago and it already feels like I need to reapply it. So when you first apply it too, it looks shinier on my hand than it does on the lips. I find that I have to layer this quite a bit to get it to look the way that I want. But that's because I like lip glosses. And there's other lip oils that I think you don't have to layer them as much. I don't know. This is the thing for me with lip oils is for the amount of time that you have to spend reapplying it and then usually how much they are. Like, I feel like something like this would be perfect because it's not super expensive. So it doesn't bother me as much to continue to reapply it. Plus, you get quite a bit of product in there. So you're not going to fly through it either. But again, it's like, I don't feel like these are a lip oil. I feel like they're like a lip gel. It's weird. But the colors, I love the colors. I wish that these were lip glosses because, again, I like lip glosses. Oh, let's see. Tower 28 lip jellies are so good. See, the consistency, I think the lip jellies are more reflective. Like, I don't have to layer them nearly as much. The lip jellies, though, is probably the closest comparison. So if you're familiar with the Tower 28 and how it has that gel-like texture, that's kind of what these remind me of, except it falls off the lips a lot faster. So overall, like, I'm not mad at this collection. I could appreciate it, and I could appreciate the collection, like, the collaboration of it. I want to show you these other looks. I just posted this one on my Insta story. This was the first look, or this is like the first or third look that I did. I just wanted you to see, like, you can get really pretty looks with this collection, but it's the things that go into it, like, it's the work. It takes me a lot of work to get it to look the way that I wanted to. I got so many compliments on this eye look, though, but I'm like, you know how long that took me to do? Because it just wasn't working the way that I wanted it to. I want ColourPop to have just more consistent products. I feel like this collection, I feel like it was missing like an eyeliner. Like I love their gel liners, but again, they're so inconsistent. I wish that they would focus more on consistency and their quality over being the fast fashion, because I feel like ColourPop has so much potential, but it just always misses the mark for what I personally like. So there's that. That's all of my thoughts on this collection. I think if you're into Twilight, you'd be really happy to have it. I'm happy to have it. I'm grateful that I received it in PR. But if I were to look at this collection and be like, okay, what would I actually spend my money on? I don't head over heels love anything in it. unfortunately. And I wish that I could say like something that's less expensive and affordable and like collectors of it. I wish I could be squealing over it, but I'm just like, yeah, like I used it. I enjoyed it somewhat. And this is just me being honest about what I look for. This is honestly why, like, I appreciate when I get ColourPop PR, but I'm like, is it really beneficial for me to try it because of how I usually feel? And I keep trying and I keep trying and I keep trying because I want to find that one banger, but I haven't found it yet. But I've had other palettes. This is where it's like, I know they have potential because, like, remember the Disney Princess palette, the original one? Those were amazing. Like, that palette was so good. So it's like, I know ColourPop can do it, but they're not. They're not giving it to me. Love their gel liners, but they always break. Yes, they're always dried out. Like, they need to master it because let me tell you what, I have some of my favorite eyeliners that I have are from ColourPop. Like these, they're the cream gel liners. I use the shade Icebreaker all the time. Let me show you, because I am always talking about how I love like pastel colored liners. This is what I feel like is missing so much in the beauty space, period. Look at how pretty it is. It's minty, it's pastel, it's creamy, but the inconsistency of these is what holds me back from buying literally the entire library of these, because I have gotten so many. Like, I guarantee I could pull one out right now and I could probably swatch it. Actually, I think I decluttered most of them. This is, it just fucking broke. They always break, even when you have like the teeniest amount of it in here. And I usually warm up all of these on my hand. Like, it's so fucking good. This is, oh, that was Icebreaker. Again. I was like, wow, those look really similar. It's because it's the same fucking thing. Yeah, these are phenomenal, but they're inconsistent. I wish they would get their shit together and just make a really solid range. Like, look how pretty. But they're so fucking inconsistent. It pisses me off because I know they can do it. I know they can have bangers, but we're just not there yet. So I hope this video was helpful. Please don't take this as me trashing all over ColourPop, because it's like, I've been using this shit all week. Like, I have spent 5 days testing this stuff, and I'm just like, man, I want to love it, but I think I personally would spend my money on something that is better quality. But ultimately, that's just a risk that you take no matter what makeup that you purchase. But I don't know. I thought they reformulated the whole pencil collection. Maybe they have recently, and I just don't know it yet. But that's where I'm like, I don't trust it enough. I don't trust it enough. Honestly, I don't like the ColourPop lip oils. Do you agree as far as like they don't feel like an oil? Right? Oh, I forgot to plug in my computer. I don't want to die on you guys right now. Let me know what you guys think of ColourPop products, because I'm always obviously curious what you guys think. The eye look came up. Oh, thank you. See, that's where I do like this. But here's an example, okay? This looks beautiful, but I would much rather use my Auric, what is it? Like the little cream and powder little pot things that are like the Tom Ford ones. I would rather use that because I would have gotten a look so similar to this so much faster. These, it was like I had to keep building it. I would have to keep finessing it because you don't get that effortless blend without really having to work for it. So that's just a little example that I have for this look specifically. But it's just ultimately like, yeah, the stars in this palette are definitely these, the shimmer eyeshadows, though. I think they're really, really pretty. I just wish they were a little bit creamier because they do have a little bit of a dry, kind of gritty texture. Like, if anything, I think that's one product that, like, Pat McGrath does really well, or even Natasha Denona. Charlotte Tilbury's another one. This is where I'm like, I know I'm saying products that are significantly more expensive, but they're significantly better. And that's where I would just, like I said, I would rather redirect my money and use that $24 towards something else that I would love even more. Does that make sense? Oh, let's see. It's like you are trying to find the potential in a man and it just doesn't have any. Yeah, that's like a perfect analogy. Like I'm trying to make this work, but the sex just ain't good. Like it's one of those, like it's exactly how I feel. You just nailed it. You just fucking nailed it. Admittedly, I haven't tried them since thought they did. Maybe they did. I would love to, actually, you know what? I'll reach out because obviously since they send me products, I have contact with them. I'll try reaching out to my rep to see if they have. And if they have, I would be willing to try them again. What palette would you be similar, would you say? I honestly think this color story, without like sitting down and rummaging through my entire collection, I think this color story is very unique. Which you wouldn't think so, just because of how many palettes are in the world. I honestly can't think of anything that I would be like, oh, well, I would get this instead. I think it's got like bits and pieces of a bunch of different things that it reminds me of. Yeah, I really can't think of it. I would really have to spend some time and go through my collection. But honestly, the color story is very unique with this one. I would honestly love to see like Unearthly do a color story like that, just saying. Oh, let's see. I bought the entire collection of the eyelayers. So far, so good. I've had a couple of mine. Oh, okay, that's good. How long ago did you buy them? When did supposedly they reformulate them? Because I didn't hear that. Oh, let's see. The eye look you use with the source. Wait, what did you say earlier? I love the tones and the eyeshadow palette. Oh, and the Sorcerer's Smoke. Oh, the latest Nomad palette. Kinda. I think that new Nomad palette's really pretty. Kind of. But I still feel like this is different. Because this is more... Like, the cool tones are everything. I love... I want to just keep reiterating, like, how much I love this color story. It's like, the color story had so much potential. Like, they nailed it with the color story. It's just when they pull so different on my eyes, it always throws me. But it's like, it's fine as long as I know that. Like, now that I know that about this palette, I'll just always assume everything's going cool toned. But some of the looks that I was doing, I was expecting them to be more neutral, but they were not coming out neutral. So it was a little challenging to test this collection. So I see you guys are saying you don't like the lip oils. Why don't you like them? What is it about them that you don't like? I seen somebody earlier saying that they don't like the smell. It does smell like, it smells like kids' makeup, or like it just kind of smells like cheap makeup. Oh, it's I like my descriptions of scents are always so spot on. I just I say something like it smells like kids' makeup or cheap makeup, and I expect people to know exactly what that is that I'm talking about. It's so funny. In the fall, they were reformulated. I've been using them for 2 months so far. They are creamy, no breakage. Thank you, Nancy. I'm going to have to, maybe I'll reach out to them because I would love to review them if that's the case. All right, so let me know your guys' thoughts. Again, I hope this was helpful. I'm not trying to bash ColourPop whatsoever. I want to love them, but I just have yet to find that banger. So let me know if you guys want me to continue to cover ColourPop until I find the banger. But yeah, I don't know if this is going to get me kicked off their PR list, but that's why I wanted to keep it pretty well balanced of, the good and the bad. But ultimately, if you were to say, Brittany, do you think it's worth the hype? If we're judging based on quality, I wouldn't say that it is, but judging based off of, the collector aspect of it, it is, because the imagery is perfectly done, I feel. And it gives Twilight vibes. So, yeah, I get it. But if I had to pick 3 things, I would say the Super Shock highlighters, but there's nothing necessarily super unique about them regarding Twilight. The most collectible aspect, I feel, is obviously the palette. But I would say, the palette, the highlighters, and this Shimmering body oil. What blush am I wearing? I am wearing the Patrick Ta Holiday Face Palette. I've got a little bit of this one right here. I've got a little bit of the darker shade on, and then I put the lighter version over it as well. And then if you're curious about the foundation that I'm wearing, I just did a 12-hour wear test on this over on TikTok yesterday. It's the foundation from Polite Society. It wears so nicely. I did a 14-hour wear test. Go check out that video. But again, I will be posting a shorter form like while I was doing my makeup today over on TikTok. I'm way more active on TikTok now because it's honestly so much simpler to just jump on live and I don't have to do any like prep work or nothing. And I'm really trying to build my platform just kind of across the board. Like I want to be back more on YouTube. So let me know too if you guys still want me to do the best of beauty for 2023 because I thought that was going to be my next video back. I wanted to get this video up before it launched today, but it is what it is. I obviously couldn't get there, but Alexandria, like old crayons. That's probably a good way to explain like what like kids makeup smells like. Oh, also, I didn't tell you guys this. So on my eyes, I'm wearing the palette, but also the eyebrows. So when I was doing my eyebrows, I used the shade Bella. So since I personally like cool tones, that's why I decided to try it in my brows. I had to use a pencil to get the tail of my brow because this would not stay. Like, and I don't have that problem. When I would use Sorceress Smoke, I could use the powder and it would stay. But if I took a spoolie to try to like blend out my eyes and just kind of soften everything, this would blend right away. So that tells me they might not last the best, which I honestly didn't have any issues when I was wearing them the past 5 days, but it's just one of those things, like, if you're going to try it in your brows, you might want to reinforce it with, like, an eyebrow pencil or something like that. But, yeah, that's just my feedback on that. Lisa's like, yes, give us Best of Beauty. All right, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you found it helpful, entertaining, or anything like that, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up or thumbs it down. That's cool, too. Follow me on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. I'm trying, guys. I'm trying to get back at this shit, so I will see you guys in my next one. Bye!